This is the ad that you answered.
One car for sale.
We gave them $5,000.
What happened with the car?
I come home, and that car is gone.
Then a second buyer.
A couple of days later, somebody's back on Craigslist selling the same car.
$7,000 in cash. I believe he committed fraud.
This is a story you're making up in your own head.
No.
Judge Judy.
Sutrich, before I get started with this case, I have one important question to ask you. Would you look at the defendant? Have you seen him before?
No, I have not.
Never.
No.
This is not the person to whom you gave money.
This is the person I sold the car to. It was through a third party or he organized someone, but this was the person who was in possession of the car and I sold the car to.
Did money exchange between you and this gentleman?
Yes, through a third party. $7,000 in cash.
But today is the first time you're seeing him.
In person, yes.
Okay. Now, you purchased a car from an ad that you read in the paper.
On Craigslist, Your Honor, yes.
Or so old, from Craigslist. You purchased the car on what date?
On November 7th, 2018.
And at the time that you bought the car, you had not heard of Mr. Bolton.
No, Your Honor.
Now, turns out that you couldn't register the car. The car had a lien on it, couldn't get a title. Turned out the car was somehow involved in an estate. Don't know who it is. And somehow you got to Mr. Bolton, right?
This is correct, Your Honor.
And now you have possession of a car that you can't register.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Bolton, what do you know about a 2015 Subaru Crosstrek?
We answered an ad from Craigslist.
Who's we?
My wife and myself.
On what date?
I would guesstimate approximately October 26th, 25th, right in there. October 2018, sorry.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Bolton?
I'm retired, but I do have a interior design business, and I'm also in the flagstone business. I have Rock in the Quarry.
What are you retired from?
Interior design.
Does your wife work?
No, ma'am. She's a homemaker.
And tell me where you live.
Well, Bonsall, California, but I also reside in Arizona as well.
You have your own home or you rent?
We own.
Is it a rural area?
Orchard. We're on an orchard.
Does your wife have a car?
No, this was to be her first car.
You have a car.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What kind of car do you have?
Cadillac Escalade.
What year?
2004.
All paid for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I want you to tell me, you bought this car from Craigslist in October of 2018. Who did you buy it from?
We bought it from a Charles Griffin.
Do you have any paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look
Yes,
at it,
ma'am.
please.
Would you like all the evidence or just...
No, let me unfold this story so that a person of my age understands it. Okay, this is the ad that you answered.
There was one. We missed the one because he deleted the original ad, which was for $7,500 for that car. But I found that he had a previous ad that was promoted in Tijuana for $5,000.
Now, did you ever see any of this evidence?
The defendant's evidence, no. But I do have the ID, one that was handed to me the night I purchased the car.
The Charles Griffin ID.
It was a piece of
This
paper
one.
that was given to me.
This-
That was not the person that sold me the vehicle, Your Honor.
Not what I'm asking you. You did not share any of your evidence with the defendant.
No.
And I assume that this is the ID that Mr. Griffin gave you when you purchased the car.
Yes, ma'am. We required it because he did not have a clear title.
I would just like you to take a look at this. See if any of it looks familiar to you.
Thank you.
Did the other gentleman in the photograph look familiar to you?
This ID image looks familiar to me, yes. And so does the car.
So does the car.
Yes.
And the person who's in the photograph with the defendant, is that the person who you gave money to?
I do not see their faces in this photograph.
Fine. Is the person that you gave money to the person in that ID?
No,
Not.
he is not.
Okay. But the name on the ID was the same name that you had as the owner?
As the registered owner on the DMV documents.
Yes. Same name.
Yes.
Okay.